I applaud my dad because I don't know what racism is. I see it, you know what I mean, but like it's not in me, you know. And you know, should it be? You know, because my dad has dealt with some pretty serious stuff, you know. I didn't find out till some of my older years just from having some discussion with him. But like, I'm like, man, I should probably be pretty racist. but I should be pretty mad and racist, you know. But thank you, you know, for raising me the right way, you know, because that's just never crossed my mind. It's just never crossed my mind. It's not.
If I could say something.
Yeah.
Even if somebody was raised racist, there's got to come a point in time where they decide whether that is right or wrong.
That's true.
Now you can either run with the whole racist thing and continue the hate and continue the dialogue of this person is trash, this person is not, or you can see beyond the color, beyond the stereotype, into actually the heart of the person, and make your own decisions.
Yeah.
And that's the line I believe you were talking about. It's the stereotype. It's the stereotypical, you know, I come from Butler, little farm town, one stoplight. Many, many times I've been asked, even by the guys I work with, do you even have TV? You still ride your horse to the gas station? Yeah, it's called a 68 Chevelle. That's my horse. We're just like everybody else. You horse. It's got 350 of them.
But I could if I wanted.
But I could if I wanted to. Yeah, by the way, I've got 3 of them in the pasture. But the stereotype that people have, and this is just my own experience. I come from southern Richland County. I am a farm boy. Boots, blue jeans, flannel shirt, 4-wheel drive. I fit that stereotype.
4 legs on the stool right there.
You know, I hunt, I fish, you know, I listen to country
You're
music.
a real one.
I grew up raising cattle. I mean, and that was me. Yep, check off the boxes. I was a truck driver before I was a cop. I decided I wanted to do something different with my life. I went to the police academy. Everybody in my police academy was white. Still, zero diversity. I had 1 black guy in high school. That's it. Nothing else. Went to the sheriff's office, started working in the jail. Culture shock. Big culture shock. Whites and blacks. And growing up without that diversity, I was confused. I didn't know what to think. You hear of the stereotypes of the north of Mansfield. And what it's like north of Mansfield, I never experienced that. I had never gone to North Mansfield, never had a reason to, actually I was scared. So when I went to the jail, and I started meeting all these people from different sides of the county, Shelby, Plymouth, North Mansfield, Roseland, I was very confused, and I didn't understand anything. I went about that for a couple of years. I adopted a little girl at 3 years old. She is black. I didn't do that as a statement. I loved her to pieces. She was an absolute doll baby. She is the love of my life still today, and she's 23. Lives in South Georgia. It got me to see things a little bit differently. This little girl had a heart of gold, and she loved me for me because I was dad, and she didn't see white. She didn't see black. She saw me as dad, so that made me open my eyes a little bit. You know, she's not a black child, she's my daughter. Right? Yeah, her skin is a different color than mine, so what? Maybe I need to start looking at people a little bit differently. So I started spending more time in North Mansfield, and I started really talking to people. And you can tell if you spend enough time opening your ears and shutting your mouth, that dialogue will start building. Now I understand more. Now I feel more. It's not that stereotype anymore. This is North Mansfield. It's not a place to be. It's crime-ridden. It's blah, blah, blah. It's not that way. It's the individual. You know, look inside their heart hard enough and take the time to look deep enough. You're going to see who a person is. I've been to homes in the worst part of Mansfield where a black family opens their door, invites me in, and asks me to sit at the table for dinner in uniform. Obviously, I can't do that, but it was a gesture that I absolutely loved. That's not indicative of all of Mansfield, of all of North Mansfield, of all of any part of Mansfield. But their perception of us from South Mansfield is probably the same perception I had growing up of their side of town versus my side of town, where there was no diversity. Now I see what's going on today, and it hurts my heart that the divide is so great. Nobody's taking enough time to stop and listen and learn. And that is where I think the divide can be brought back together.
Can I ask you a question as a law enforcement officer?
Sure.
Can you put your law enforcement officer, I know that that's a thing that you do for a living.
Yes.
But what would you like for people, and maybe particularly black people or people of color, to understand about law enforcement officers that maybe they might not understand?
For people in general to see us in a different light than what they're seeing on the news. What people are seeing on the news with Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, with Mr. Floyd, they're seeing cops making bad decisions and doing bad things. Those are bad cops. Those are just bad apples. We are not all like that. We're not all like that at all.
Would it be a safe characterization, and I want you to tell me if I'm someplace where I'm wrong, those are cops making bad decisions, and those are often bad cops? Do most cops think that? Would you say that many of your colleagues would say the same thing? Do you look at the officer that killed George Floyd, and do you, in the sheriff's department or in the PD, you guys look at that and go,
We're disgusted.
What the hell?
Yeah, we're disgusted.
Is that what
Nobody dislikes bad cops more than good cops.
Well,
You know, we have a duty not only to protect the public, but to keep each other, and I mean each other by the rest of our officers, my partners, we need to have each other's backs and hold each other accountable. That is our job, to make sure that my partner is not being excessive and he's making the right decisions. And if he's making the wrong decisions, I'm going to call him out on it. He may not like it, and it may look like I'm undermining him. I don't care, that is my job. That is what I signed up for, and that's the right thing to do. If he's being excessive, if I have to use force to get him to stop, I will. That's part of law enforcement. Not only do we enforce the laws, we enforce the laws with each other also.
how does you talked about the divide, Jeff, and how that disturbs you. How's that divide affected your life? I mean, what a three-dimensional life you're a farm boy from Butler. You've adopted and raised a black girl who's now an adult, who moved on and is living on her own. Your sheriff's department in a largely white county, and now you're living in this world right now where we're really facing some. I mean, we're taping this right now in the middle of a convulsion in our country. How's it affected your life?
When I started doing this job 28 years ago, it was fun. I was proud to be an officer. I was proud to serve. I always prided myself, and I always wanted to make sure that whatever I did, I would not bring disgrace to myself or to my department. And I made sure that that was a priority of mine throughout my entire career. As the years went by, I have seen society and people's demeanor and their perception of others change so drastically that I now wish that I had chosen a different profession. I would rather lose my job than lose my integrity. And to me, that's very, very important. I feel sorry for the guys coming up behind me. They have a very, very tough job, and they have a lot of damage control to do. I retire in 18 months. I am very much looking forward to walking away from this and not looking back. I still get nasty stares. My house was egged last weekend. Eggs all over my cruiser, eggs all over my house. Nobody else has got egg, so we're targeted in some fashion. I drive down my road, park my cruiser in front of my house, I still get dirty looks from people, no matter where I go. People flip me off. I've been called very, very colorful names. I have to just keep driving, and I can't do anything about it. Not that I want to engage them. It's not, it's ignorance. It's, again, the not understanding. You know, I didn't understand them, they don't understand me, but they're not taking the time to. They're not walking up and say, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah, absolutely, you can talk to me. Nobody does that. What I get is not pleasant, and that's most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time. But again, it's a perception, it's the stereotype. He's a cop, he's dirty, because he's a cop.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my neighbor's cousin's brother got beat up by a cop. Yeah, I bet he's the same way. You know,
Right.
again, the stereotype. Trayvon Martin, Mr. Floyd, beat up by a white cop. I mean, how tragic is that? I live in Ohio. I have nothing to do with that. That's not my belief. That's not my way of working. You know, what he did was deplorable. And why anybody would choose to do that is beyond any kind of reasoning for me at all. I'm not that way. Not all cops are that way. 98% of us are not. But there are the 2%, maybe 5% or more, that are that way. And it is a power thing. It's, I have a badge, I have authority, I'm going to use that to my advantage. And if you don't listen to me, I'll make you listen to me. Or I'll make you wish you had. That's abuse. Even if it's not physical, it's still abuse. And it's not right. So to answer your question, it's affected me greatly. Mentally, physically, I'm ready to go.
Done.
That's
I'm done.
That's the sad thing too, is it seems like you were someone that had a really good grasp on or you had the capacity to understand, you know, how the other side saw things. And,
Right.
and to hear that you can't wait to get out the door, it's kind of, in a way, it's sad because it's like, who's gonna be the next, the same people out there, you know, they probably don't wanna be cops. And then it's like, so who's coming in, you know?
And how long is it going to take them to get that same understanding?
Same understanding.
Develop some balance, right?
How long
And every time officers start making some kind of headway, some moron from another state does something stupid and pushes us back ever further. Now we're the most hated people in the world. That, we gotta claw and we gotta crawl, scratch our way back to that understanding part again.